Hello, I am Jamie. This is Tradespotting. 10 after, we're getting into the TA. Before then, it's the intro and a little bit of housekeeping. As you see, we've got the timeline along the top, so you'll be able to see whatever time frame I'm looking at quite clearly. You've got the ticker in the bottom right above my Twitter username _Tradespotting and unreasonable.shop. Don't visit that shop. 157.16, that's the current price. There above it you can see GME. 120 odd of you guys watching at the minute. So, housekeeping, and then we've got 2 minutes for that, and then we're into the charts. At 10 after, housekeeping, that is everybody who has helped this channel, thank you so much. Everybody, you just do it so well that you're described as a cult by other people, even hardcore GME dedicated people across the internet describe you guys as in a cult. And so we embrace that. There is no indoctrination. You have to already be indoctrinated to come here. And you can leave anytime you want. In fact, if you're not entirely happy, I preferred you did. So to demonstrate that, hit the like button. And thank you to everybody who does so much to support the channel. Because of the nature of the way we deliver our message, sometimes we fight an uphill struggle, which mirrors a lot of what the audience do here. And thanks so much for all of your help. And to get the best out of it, I'm going to have to delegate properly. And so we've sort of been doing that with all the moderators across this channel, Rocky Outcrop's channel, and Rocky's Discord. There isn't yet anybody, there are a couple of people who do a really good job on the subreddit, Tradespotting, but there's no moderators other than myself there yet, though I'm happy for anyone who wants to do the jobs, if you've got something to add. And in return, and to thank everyone who's helped the channel, Electro Boy, who's in chat there, he's doing NFTs of all the moderators, little GIFs of you guys, which are all going to be shown at the end of the streams to thank you for all the things you do. And I'll show at the end of every stream along with the credits. It'll be the video in the background. But what we need from you is not your real picture of you if you don't want to. I mean, if you want to, that's fine, but it doesn't have to be. A real picture or a fake picture or whatever. It has to be an avatar that represents something you like, if you're one of these people I'm talking about, along with a theme, which has a one-word theme, and an accessory. And I need you to email that or to me or Twitter DM me, or preferably you would like send it on Discord in the moderator channel on Rocky's Discord. But if you're not on the Discord, then just DM me on Twitter and I'll get it across there. So your picture, it doesn't have to be you, but a picture you like of a person or a celebrity or whatever that you want to be designed around your avatar, and then a theme, and then one accessory like a hat or a pipe or whatever, right? Or a bong, or doesn't matter, right? Whatever you want. One accessory, one theme, one picture, and you have to do that every moderator. And then it's going to be an NFT of yours, and it's also going to be shown at the screen. And Electro Boy in chat is doing that for free, so hats off to him. Thanks very much. And that's just to represent all the different things you do. And along with the NFT, it'll go like, when I put it on, it'll look like you know those old lords, milords, when they go into the castle and you see they've got pictures of all the different their dad and that guy's dad and his great uncle and blah blah blah, and all the whole clan member, really everyone from the clan. That's what this will be like. And underneath it'll say your name that you've got for your whatever name you use primarily. And it'll have underneath the thing that you contribute to the community. Right now, I don't just mean a moderator. It'll say like, you know, like Frostcrest there or whatever, or Case, like how he documents every video. You know, Frostcrest, like as well as like keeping everybody, and like he's got like his the way he thinks, but they can't really put that as like a tagline underneath your name, Frosty. So it'll have to be like, you know, whatever, like your option type plays or whatever, you know, consider it like your flair on Reddit. It's that kind of idea, but it's also representing the thing you do to help people. So, and even if you're not one of those moderators, there are still a number of slots left for people who've done something. And I know that there's a discussion about some of you maybe being added as moderators on one of these platforms in a minute or two. I see your names in chat there, you guys. So so that, but there are also people who haven't done it, and I don't speak to as often, like Grilled Cheese and Scotch, who made like the hype video. I'd love you to be on there, mate, and other people who've contributed stuff that was just so important. So if you're a moderator or if you've done anything like that, and you're like high level in the occult, then there'll be one of you. So please do get in touch, because the sooner you do, the better for doing these things. And thanks very much for Electro Boy for doing that for us. Right, so the time is 13 minutes after. We've got 2 minutes left. Oops. Oh, I got that volume down just in time for the buzzer. Just having time for the buzzer. Oh, and the jar is filling up, and the price is 156.05 on the charts there. The charty charts. Lower edge of this Bollinger Band, tracing the prices down. It's a 1 minute. If we go to the 15 minute, look at this support and resistance on this up move where it might be coming in for touches of things. At the 0.5 there, as we said, you know, it's not an unrealistic place to go when you're trending. It's to come back to the 0.5 Fibonacci level. Thank you very much, Daniel. Thank you very much, Paul. And here prices would be at 154 or so, but we're still above that, 156. So that's not a problem. Not a problem at all. Thank you so much. I'm going to turn down my own actual volume for a second because that's just too much. Too much to apologise. Right, and below that you've got like the golden pocket where prices could also come back to. And this Fibonacci we drew it in. Did we drop it right on the top there? Is that where we dropped this in at? Or is there some space to go there? There's the top. And we're in around the 0.5 Fibonacci at the minute sequence. So, you know, would that catch it? Well, where's your horizontal support and resistance? You look left, you can see there's a couple of areas where it might get in there, but within this trend, 618 is obviously very interesting once you're below the 236. We know that about GME 153 that comes in at. So anything in around there would be like totally not a big deal. All of these parts of this breakout are hard to judge because there's 15-minute candles all the way through it. So where does it go on the 1 hour? You can see that that's top side here, retracement within it there, drop down below. You've got 15 minutes left, 14 minutes left in this hourly close. Could just shoot back up again now. Like this could be your bargain touches. And why it might have been awesome to have stretched your ammo out over the day. Should we be investing throughout the day and have money to invest any day? It's good to, while also enter at various. You count H Jones? Of course, my lady. You're look at your face there. Yeah, you count H Jones. Can you look at Cliff again for me? Of course I can, Paul. Thank you very much for the donation. I'll go into Cliff as soon as I've done GME AMC, and then I'll do CLF for you. No bother, mate. Thanks for the donation. Thank you very much, Paul. Thanks for everybody who supports the channel. Right, so but 50% Dow Fury 5 Fibonacci. Both reasons for it to have bounced there. Lower, you got in around 53. That's this golden pocket on this move up. In terms of body closes, and putting a channel around things, you'd probably go somewhere like that. And see, you know, there's nothing dramatic happening, you know. So, like, if you might have thought when we were up at 166.78, and I was like, some people Elliott Wave said that the level was 162, and I was saying, well, actually, you know, you're looking at the 0.5 Fibonacci on this bigger move here from like this high, these breakdown points to these lows, which you've got represent with this Fibonacci, right? This is a measurement back up again, like as the strength of this back up again move goes. You want to capture the 236, and that's also where prices are at the minute, right? At 155. So this is, I would suggest, it would be the buy between now and the end of the day. No, that's just what I'm saying. Like, it's not financial advice, and you can tell me to go F myself if you like, but that's the news, right? And is this a bad thing? No, it's the bullish side of like, we buy at support, not resistance, right? I'm always telling people that at resistance. I was telling people it forever when we were up at high 200s and beyond, you know. It can only be so very subtle because I want us all to make money, you know, and us all to be investing at the right times. But obviously I can't say anything that's like directly negative, but I give you the tea as it happens, and that you buy at support, not resistance, you know. That now I often was saying that previously we were at resistance, and now we're at support. But like I say, it's not financial advice, and you don't, if you're not here for that kind of news, that's cool. The time is 15, or is that 18? It's something, I don't know. Anyway, so you're at the 236 Fibonacci. On the measurement of the retracement of this down move that we went from in around $200 down to here at 144 or whatever, like on your way back up. That is the measurement you're talking about there, and we're at the 236 of it, which is the most crucial level to like first capture, because that's when you can define a Fibonacci retracement as active. Until that's happened, and you can't necessarily use it for very much. We've gone through it and put in significant candle closes beyond it, so I would still use it, but it's not as then pertinent. You'll be looking for other things. So this is the level we'd like to hold, and it's also the level you're likely to get a buy at, and it's also like it would be confluent with this demand line you've got in this formation we're forming, which looks like an upward sloping channel. Now, do they have a breakout zone or an opportunity either side of it? No, they don't, right? That's not the way these things work. It's not the way everything works. Nothing like that, alright? It's not fucking Fisher Price technical analysis for fucking idiots. Yeah, you'll get that, right? But it's not here. Right. So this is close enough. I mean, in terms of like, this is right anyway. Also, as I was talking about with the Bollinger Bands here, as you can see on this 1 hour time frame on GME, you were tracing the top Bollinger Band, came in, met this supply line, right, the top side of this formation, this channel. We say that's the supply line. You came back down. You're now on and about the simple moving average that comes through in the middle of this Bollinger Band, right? And if you're trending to the upside, you're in a bit of an uptrend. That's what I was saying. In the hourly time frames enough to start defining a trend that means something. You would say, yeah, you're coming in. If you touched, right? It's pretty obvious, right? You came up, you went open, close, exactly on it, right? This is how you know my shit works and what I'm talking about means something, and how I did the segment earlier on Rocky Show. You hope you caught that. It was good information for the rest of the day's price action. Has been. Anyway, whatever, right? So I don't need to pat my own back. Fuck it. And then so you like that performed exactly as I told you it would do. You know, you've got the touch, you've got the accumulation here on this thing. You've got the move straight from the bottom one to the top. 1, 2, 3. Didn't get the next one open and close above it, right? So there you're back inside and you're touching the moving average again. You're trying to upside, it's an uptrend. That's how these things work. And whoop-de-doop-de, there's GME dropping the bombs. You know, you drop that bomb, right? You combine that with the one that dropped you before about golden crosses and how to trade moving average crosses strategy, right? There's the Bollinger Band trading strategy. There's the moving average trading strategy. And if you've seen the MACD, I've told you how to do the MACD trading strategy. And if you've got Rocky Outcrops DMI, you've got that, right? You combine all of those together and you get all of those signals at the same time, right? You will get a 1.5 risk-reward trade, assuming your horizontals are like within parameters. You'll get a 1.5 risk-reward trade. You'll get that right over 80% of the time. That's incredible, right? Yeah. And people tell you like the way to Moontown is to buy this one thing and do this one thing only ever with all of your money. That is not necessarily in your best interest. Your best interest is to learn to do things that will keep you safe and keep your wealth safe while growing it over time. And the best way to grow it over time is with compound gains. And if you can do quick trades that you've got a high chance of success in, and you can get frequent enough signals to take them, which is difficult when you stack together all of these reliable indicators all at the same time and you're only looking for when they all fire at once, then you're thinking, well, how often does that happen? Well, quite a fucking lot. But the ideally, right, you'd get them all the time. And the way you do that is by taking as many good trades as possible. And 1.5 to 1 risk-reward ratio is fantastic for people starting out, right? Now, you might be like Rocky, if you know Rocky, and aim for 5 to 1 sort of trades. Or you might be like me and say, well, I've got a portion of my account that I put on for like 15 to 1 and aboves. And then you can then work in various different strategies and different indicators all firing to get the right thing at the right time. And so you'll likely not find somebody more passionate and committed to the idea and concept of buy and hold in GME. But if you're also trying to live a life now that means you're going to need to trade, then I'll show you other tickers that you can make money on. I'll teach you the way that you can trade safe so you don't lose money. And while none of it's financial advice, I will show you the things that I've learned over years to stack up in a row that make it so that you can do this, right? So that you don't need to trade options to get rich. You don't need to gamble and take big risks to make a difference to your bank balance and your account over time. And that it can be interesting, fun, enjoyable, and also that the information, while it might seem really difficult and hard to understand and full of grey areas, without blowing my own horn, I've got tooting my own horn, right? I do have the personality that makes it so that those grey areas that might trip you up, send you the wrong direction, and teach you bad habits, I'll have a way of delivering a message that will get you through a lot of the chaff that you would have to go through on your own, right? You can consider it similar to a trading coach or a mentor or somebody just out here to helping you, right? A spirit animal or a guide to looking at the charts, right? You can call it whatever you want. It's not financial advice. And I'm not beholden to you, and I have no responsibility other than the commitment that I make out of by being a nice guy, and that doesn't persist for longer than usually 5 minutes at a time, so you can't rely on that at all. But that's the point. That's why I'm here. That's what it's all about, and to deliver that message in a way that gets through to those of you who, I know there's loads of you who are like only here to hear about GME, and some of you are only interested in the ticker, and you put every single penny you've got into it and nothing else. And I understand, right? I am with you guys, right? I am, right? But I also come from this world where you have to trade to pay your bills, and so I'll direct you to those assets which aren't GME, aren't AMC, that you can get in and out of, and that you can do it with a reasonable. And if you start with $1, you'll learn, right? You can do it yourself on paper accounts and whatever, right? You can follow along, and you can't see it here, but on the right hand side of my screen, I have the tickers that everybody's ever asked for me for in chat now, that I could remember, and I'll go through them and every so often, maybe once a week or whatever, and give them like 30 seconds to a minute of just good updates of anything that's anybody's ever paid for me to look at, so like there will be that will happen. That'll never change about the show. Also, that list will get bigger and bigger over time, so you'll be a big list of everything that every Doomslayer or Corruptition has ever asked for Tradespotting to have a look at that chart, and I'll try and keep the drawings on them, make sure it's all there. Kala, $10, thank you, you're very welcome. Thank you, very welcome. 26 minutes past, right? So 30 minutes after I'll check AMC. And because I know I'm flitting between the charts and the housekeeping thing and talking about what the channel's coming up for swings and so on. So that's the idea, right? And forgive my meager offering. Oh, that's nice what you're saying, Amber. That's thank you very much, generous of you. Forgive my meager offering. Hub's out of work for 2 weeks now, thanks to COVID, so coffers pretty bare at the minute. But sometime today, could you do a quick T8 on skills? You betcha. Thanks, Amber. And if somebody wants to keep a track of what I've not looked at yet, because Cliff and then skills. Right, Cliff Richard has the skills. I can remember that. Put that in my memory palace. Yo. 156.02 on the GMEs. Anyway, yeah, so that's that. AMC 32.08. So it's being traded very differently from GME at the minute. Those two assets, the percentage up and downs and the moves between them, might seem similar at different times, but actually very different depending on how you look at it and the inflection points. So that's that, right? That's that. That's how this stuff goes over here on Tradespotting. I'm Jamie. Thank you very much. Literal dumbass 6 I'm all in on GME, but I'm also here for all of it. Cheers for sharing your wrinkles. Awesome, excellent, totally cool, yeah. And you'll see other channels will gravitate. I suppose that's what they've been trying to orientate towards in this overall space, like to help people manage their wealth and so on. And like it's obviously been my objective the whole time, right? Since like long before GME started as a thing. You can go see the start of the YouTube channel if you're new here and you haven't, like take a look at it. It's only ever been about helping you, and that's all it ever will be about. That being said, it's not financial advice. So nice bounce there. If that goes back up, I'll look good, but then I always do look good. So yeah, that's how it is, right? And I advise everybody to like try and use technical analysis. 'Cause it's better than anything else. It's a quicker way to like success, right? Honestly, it is. Use it if you're trying to like do this to pay your bills. It is possible. People will sell you all sorts of fucking ambitious stuff right now. Some of them may even possibly deliver on it, but I've never met one yet. The way to do it is to like manage your risk and to pick the right things and to enter and exit at the right time and to be sensible. But some of you have got like extra skills in that, and you do different things and you use various other instruments, in which case all of your decisions should be taken around the technical analysis regardless. And so I push that message just like Rocky does. And we'll add to his mission for 1,000 good traders, 1,000 people that can sit down at a computer and print money, right? Just like, here, this is a trade, this will work, right? And it'll work over the next 15 minutes. You'll be able to get in, you'll be able to get out, you'll have made a profit, and in the meantime, over a period of trades, you'll have made a profit, and you'll have managed your risk so that you will always manage to make it through that number of trades. So, like, for example, if you had set up those 4 different indicators to give that right buy signal, you'd got the right timeline, you'd been trading the asset on the right side of the trend, and you were using my trading strategy, as long with having an 80% plus success rate, and like it very likely is higher, you also wouldn't get that trade wrong any more than 7 times out of 100 in a row. You would maybe more, obviously, you get it wrong more than 7 times, but not ever would you get it, and I've tested it an awful lot of times. And I've back tested it previous to that an awful lot of times. And each time I'd add another inflection, and it's taken years and years to get the edge I have. I'm not boasting, this is what it took. It was not, some people could do it a lot faster. Yeah, so that's how it works, right? And you learn how to manage your risk, and you follow Rocky Outcrop, and he'll teach you how to do the technical analysis, even as good as I will. Anyone here find themselves drinking more tea than usual? Haha. Ching. Yeah, you thought it was pretty funny, didn't you? Right, so that's 30 minutes past, so 30 after the hour. There's a 55 now, just dropping below that. Look at the AMC TA now. Here's your Bollinger Bands. We had a big move outside the top of that on the hourly. Let's go back down, say on 15 minutes, and work our way up. Tracing the bottom, touching the 236 here on this. Where does this start? Put the 40s and down to the 28s, and you came up, you touched and went above but didn't maintain above the 618. We said this was likely the top of the channel. Since then you've come down. We talked about how the mid-level of this was, where the 236 was. We did excellent TA on this yesterday. We said that there is the chance of this coming in lower here if it doesn't got the momentum. Obviously everybody will be excited about the earnings report and so on. It was positive, it was better than expectations, it was fantastic in fact, but it was a trading event and it was subject to event psychology, and I've got a video on event psychology. It's in that series that I put up long before GME was a thing, right? So watch that, you'll learn something. Event psychology, there's 2 parts to it, and it talks about the Bitcoin halving, and it's really, I say halving as a joke, and it's a really good way of looking at trading. So here you go, you're experiencing that now. 236, when will this event have finished? Well, it looks like it'll be the same as everything else when you look back and say, things have changed, and that then things will really start to change, but it'll have been either before or after your mental cognitive cognizance with regards to recognizing it anyway. Holy sugars, I'm really verbose, haven't I, today? So there's you got your 31.26 is the level we were looking at a bounce for. If that doesn't happen, you've got previous horizontal support at 28, and then it may well likely be that you come in around 24.99. That's pretty like a fantastic entry for this if you could possibly get it, especially having seen that this is conforming to the chart so very well despite the earnings report. As you can see if you watched yesterday's video, that very few people didn't. It was the 10th out of the 10th least popular video out of the last 10 I've done. But it was like the update for quick update for busy apes, which I'll keep doing. And it's talked about after hours price action likely to be, and I didn't even talk about the fact there was earnings report. I wasn't aware of it at the time, yet still called it like within 20 cents or something. You know, there's orange lines on the chart there where it got up to and shit. Where was it? AMC. Where was it? You got your early closes and stuff there. Everything like falling in with that. And you got this, anyway, wherever it was at the time, we talked about how it might go a wee bit more, and then it did when we watched it in post-market, and it got there and we said this will likely be here and this will stuff will happen. It has happened. Anyway, whatever, I'm not trying to I am, but whatever, like. Anyway, yeah, so that's that. So this is TA there, so go start at 15 minutes again, talk about that. We got those things below us, we talked about this, we didn't really touch on this, but you can see the RSI has really dropped off. 15 minutes, you're not going to get much of a long term from that. You can see that the negative trend is in effect at the minute from the DMI. See, there's nothing, like volume's not really stretched out properly, but you can see that there's nothing crazy happening. Not certainly in that little slot of time, but today has been more than it has been. I can see that much. And then let's go up and look at different time frames. Tradespotting, can you review UA? Says Moco Labs. UA, what is it, and what is that? The full ticker, just UA? And what time frame would you like me to look at it on, my friend? There's your touching the lower level Bollinger Band. You had an open close on the moving average. There's your 236 and around there. You can see how it's like sucking, it's getting sucked to it. Like that also wouldn't even be the mid level of this channel, so you might see it testing lower, and that would be confluent with your horizontal support and resistance there if you were to draw a line through this and catch the main bits, you know, somewhere like this here, and you would expect that to happen in and around where you also had your previous low. Isn't that amazing that, you know, boom, there's some technical analysis. Way. Oh, people wish they could break it down like this, don't they? They wish they could. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the like button. Thank you very much. You could be anywhere but you here, and then where else would you like to be? If you like AMC, you like GME, and you like to know what's happening, and you want tomorrow's news today, then this is the place to be, innit? Yo, thank you very much, my friends. Thank you very much. Hit that like button. Thank you. Thank you. Right, so there's this overall channel you're in. You can see that that's dominating price action. When you go up to the 1 hour, it's like, that looks a bit dodgy, but like we've already talked about the 1 hour. We'll go to 4 hour now, and you can see what's at the top of this really high move. It's really high move when you're in like blue sky, breakout, your RSI, it's like accumulation. That's what that just is. This is accumulation here at resistance, more or less, right? It's not that far away off the top side of this thing relative to where it's come from. It's like and you're only on the 4 hour, and you can see that this is like a big move up, and this is typical of what you call a bull flag with the slightly lower highs and lower lows. It looks like a flag. It's turning into like a perfect flag. Depends how low it goes and how extended this gets before you would use it as a reliable technical indicator in terms of using it in a trade. But you've got lots of positive signals accumulating above oversold, putting in a trend line underneath that I could draw along there just so you know, so you can see it's happened, right? And then you get more touches of that, better. You break above the center line, that would be significant. It hasn't done it yet. If it does do, it'll take prices back up to the top of this formation, and you can see the measured move on it might take you a little bit beyond that. That also, if it works with this Fibonacci where we're at the minute, which will update as prime goes on, would show that the extension, i.e. the targets for price action should it break through this formation, as well as having this measured move. There's other confluent factors like the 1414 level on the Fibonacci sequence and the 1618. Those are two ideal targets for algorithmic traders to aim for in this type of a move. So that gives you another factor to build into successful trades. You know, that idea of Fibonacci's, extensions, targets, how to take profit, where to take profit, stick to a plan. Add that into the risk management side that we said previously. Fantastic, right? Fantastic. And you can take percentage of sort of profits at those sorts of levels. Now, I'm not talking about this asset. I'm talking about how you trade. So in other assets, you might think about doing that, and you'd say to yourself, well, but Jamie, you talk about how this can compound interest and can work over time. And yesterday stream, I talked about how you can accelerate that process, and there's various ways of doing it. If you're trading on an exchange which provides you with leverage and you've moved into a significant level of profit, you can then move your stop loss to close out that trade. Now, this is very difficult to do all of the little things and get used to the trading platform you're on, and to manage this process already will take extra diligence on top of just understanding the concept. And so for that reason, it's like a ride at this holiday camp we're going to, and called Unreasonable Land. It's like a ride there that you're not allowed to get on because it's very dangerous. You have to apply for special permission, and it's just this concept of using that leverage as and when your position is in a lot of profit, where you can move your stop loss up. So your stop loss itself, which covers your entire position, is and will trigger if prices reach that area, cuts any risk you're in there, so you'll always make a profit. And then you can flip to leverage. You can take that capital that's in that trade and you can use it on other trades, and that's how you can take advantage of more and more and more of these signals, and you can accelerate that compound growth. And you add that up, right, over a couple of years of this journey that I'll take you on, that could totally and utterly change the way you live your life. It could, okay, it will do if you do it the way that I try to impart. Now, along that journey, you will fight against all of your inner demons, right? And people talk about FUD, and they talk about fear and uncertainty and doubt, and that's a good conceptualization. On the other side of it, people talk about fear of missing out and greed, and I think those two things are one. They're envy, and the one way you'll have to conquer it is with a lot of self-awareness, and I don't think that the part of the danger of doing this is that so many of the personalities attracted to doing this to live their life suffer from a predisposition to trip up in certain areas, and that's with that you can avoid a lot of that through self-awareness. It's difficult to get there if you're at all egotistical. You're going to have to, if you are, you will have to learn, and that learning will come through hard lessons, and most likely in terms of liquidations, and you'll have to manage your risk and stick to it at all times, or you will lose everything. Most of you will likely lose everything because you don't know yourself well enough, and I don't think you can ever know yourself, especially not in the moment. Nobody can. So there's that to bear in mind. And along that journey, there'll be a lot of different things that come in from your own real life, and those emotions may affect the decisions you make, and that can absolutely wreck you. So it's incredibly dangerous. There's infinite risk at all times, and managing that is above all important. So I don't advocate it for anybody. It's not something you should try if you're not very, 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 very desperate to do it. Don't do it, right? And that's not like Unreasonable Shop where I'm thinking like, people, probably will. This is like, don't do it if you're not ready for it. Don't. You can still watch along. You can still learn where GME's going, AMC's going every day. You can put every penny you want into that, and I'll tell you exactly how it's going to go, give you the best entries, talk about how to manage it, and I'll never say anything that makes it easier for people to day trade. In the sense that I'm trying to add to the other side so that people accumulate. There'll always be net positive on that effect from my influence, right? That's the truth. So anyone who's got a problem with me, I think of that, people. Right, so thanks, and hit the like button. That's AMC, and then your measured move out of that, your Fibonacci extension targets, and all those good numbers that everybody are looking for that are in or around $97, $107, $137. So that's what you're looking at from AMC. And thank you very much for everybody who's tuning in today and sticking with the format. Time now, 41 minutes past. We're going to go on and look at CLF. CLF. It has been asked for before, so where is it? Where is CLF? BC's. CLF. Chat request menu. CLF. There we are, CLF. CLF, it's at 26.03. It's broken into all-time highs again. It's come in here on, this is on the 4-hour chart. Let's go back out and take a big picture view of this and see what we thought about it previously. We can see that it's putting in higher highs. It's doing very well on the RSI just because obviously since this high accumulated there below that, that's good. This is still in effect. ADX is strengthening on this one, pointing up. Watch you look left again. These are your zones. We've got green lines in here. Holy sugar, we've got a good trade looking on this if you had got in there, but I suspect this is on a retest, was it? You've got a breakout zone and a retest. That's still a trade if it comes back for it. These are your profit zones if you're already in one. You've hit 1 and nearly 2. Nice one. See, we've got some Fibonacci's. Great, my drawings are all still on. I've got some idea what's happening with this thing. Plus we have the Bollinger Bands to add to things. So the weekly time frame, you can see looking left. Above you, you've got horizontal resistance coming in at around the 27, high 27, 28. Dog, thank you for everything. Doomslayers, can we look at SOFI later? Awesome. I'll try and remember that. Someone hopefully remind me. No problems. Thank you very much, Dog. And at the top there, yeah, so that like 27 something is where the top level of resistance is on the weekly. But that's the zone, and below there you've got 24.50. So you're in between those two levels at the minute, and you've come in and you got close to the top one. Clearly you went through this first one. Down below you've got entries here, or is this entries, or is it take profit before then on a trade like this, on a retest back up again. That might have been what I was saying at the time, and at which point I would have thought that's likely in a good move, good percentage move off that too. That is a trade, that is the trade. If you have the patience to wait for it, that's a very good one. Wonder if I set up an alert there. Certainly going to drop one on now. Yeah, but there's lots of other reasons why that might not ever get there. Like, this is obviously, I can't remember if I've even got any of this, if I did trade that before or what I thought about it, but if I did, I haven't sorted it out yet, so we'll have a look later. But, yeah, so this is CLF. We're looking at it starting on the weekly. You can see there's a long a trade if you're really patient for a drop down there, retest this breakout zone, and it would look like a good entry from where we are at the minute. Let's go down though. 2-day time frame, still trending up, higher highs consistently, good moves on the RSI there. We see this, what did I draw in before? Yeah, it's good right into this one, awesome. It's touching though the oversold zone where you can see, overbought zone where you can see it bounce once, bounce twice, bounce 3 times here. Historically it bounces here a lot, right? It bounces here a lot. So this may be where your extension then reaches like its ultimate move, or where it starts to blow off top. So I'd be wary of it, and I'd keep those previous levels above me in mind. If it does break through, you do have an area previously, where is that, in around here? I thought on the RSI it was this top and this top, where you'd then be thinking, how's that move looking? That may even come on this move, so we'll see, but that looks like it's got that little bit left to go, but that's not much in the move in terms of making money, but it's done very, very well. Does look like it may be, and there's a good dominance still fluking up on the DMI, hard to argue with that, very difficult, impossible to argue with higher highs, but if you are to stretch that out, you can see that it's already putting in this sort of a formation, so if it ever starts opening and closing 2 days above that, that'd be fantastic. It's likely to go through it a little bit longer. I could see that that's still got some room on it until it takes some other sort of formation you had within that on that time frame. Perhaps, you know, you're at the Bollinger Band, you broke above it here, you tend to touch the top one, come down, touch the middle one, bounce, touch the top one, you know. See how this starting to get easier, maybe even over time, right? Like, so here you go, there's an idea. And then you're outside the top of it on that time frame though, so that's very bullish. Touching it on the daily, touching it at the top, broke above it, touch the top, back up again, top of this wedge type of formation. That's a bearish formation at the minute. It's expected to make it on a little bit longer in time though, which take you maybe to early September, just based on how this looks. Could be loads of other things that supersede that though, and you're only made it to the daily time frame. So let's keep our knickers on. You can see that the negative trend's dead. You can see that the RSI is still strong. You can see that it's breaking above its previous high, so there's nothing wrong with that. It looks good. Down to the 4 hour, you see that there's bearish divergence there. You can see that if this does come in to be some sort of a high, then you'd be looking at how far would the pullback go, at which point you'd be wishing you'd taken your profit off your trade or set up a stop loss in profit and stuck to your convictions, because while it might be emotional, you know, the measured move on the wedge, should it break from one side to the other, is, you know, takes you down past that entry, you know, at the 618 there, all the way down to like $15 or something. Wait a minute, yeah, that's not that entry, that's not even anywhere near as bad as this thing. So that's another entry for you. Get in there, and here we've got a green line. That would be support, that would be a place to enter, and there's previously reasons I've looked at that and drawn it in horizontal perhaps, and previous resistance. It's obviously a good area. I've had the volume profile visible range on. You could see that would be probably the line of control, i.e. where most trades had been taken in this price action, which is relevant for drawing and thinking about future price action, and much more useful at doing the same job that you might think you're getting from looking at something like the VWAP on a smaller intraday time frame. Much more robust for using when you apply it at least to the other indicators that I may have been talking about earlier or not. Who knows if you were listening or here or not or anything, but if you are, hit the like button. Thank you very much. And price, the time is 10:40 something. Price on CLF 26.08, price on GME 156.76, price on AMC 31.84. So here's your entries for this, down at 618 or down, which is at 16.95, or then if you're like more looking for more chocolate in your biscuit, it's 15.55 or below. And if you're like me and you've got loads of other things to look at and you're only really interested in making something that's like really low risk, really high opportunity, super easy to manage because you've got loads of other things to do in your life, as well as having to make money from doing this, then you've got patience, because it's the only way you're going to, you're in it long term. You'll have realized that surely, that instant gratifications and likely to lead to bankruptcy. Here you've got actual reasons to think about things, and within that, if you're already in a trade, then the way to do it, as I touched on earlier, when you're like, Jamie, how do you accelerate this? How do you make it work? How do you get the most from your good decisions? And how do you lose the least from those ones that go against you, which some invariably, some will, inevitably, one could catastrophically go against you if you don't manage your risk. So you always need to think about that, and managing it is a simple process really, but it's hard to get used to the discipline. On the top side, you want to limit your risk, but you don't want to limit your opportunity. You don't want to cut yourself off when you could have made more. So by the time you get to your top profit taking target, you should always, at the very least, have taken everything you initially put into that trade off the table. Yourself, ideally with a limit order, ideally in advance of the price getting there, you'll have set it, because that's not this, it's not the market dynamic for AMC or GME, it's this other thing, right? It's called trading for a living. It's being having a lifestyle of a trader where you can be good at it and not then spend all your time doing it, which is the actual goal, right? It's not to make $1 million today. It's so that when you do have the money, you can take your girlfriend or your boyfriend, or you can repay them for all the fucking shit they've done for you. You can do stuff for those people, or be nice to people when you're out and about, and have the time to be out and about with them all the time, and have that luxury, or like do it for your kids, or do it for your bills, or do it for whatever, right? And that's how it works. It's a lifestyle that not just frees you from having to work and do other people's jobs for them, but also means that like you can have the life that you deserve, right? And then somebody says, well, what would happen if everyone just traded for a living? Well, what would happen was we wouldn't need large liquidity providers. The world would work smoothly, better. Everyone would be happier and things would work better, right? And there's robots that are going to do every other freaking job, and they're already really good at doing this one. What job are you doing, mate, that you're able to sit there in your gilded throne and tell me that what would happen to the world if everyone was a trader? Well, everyone would be a damn sight happier if they were doing it the way I tell people how to do it. That's the answer to that. And so anyway, there's various entries in that, and you've got profit taking targets. And how do you do that, not limit your upside? Well, what you do is you use something like, and I've talked about lots of indicators, on chart, off chart. I've talked about the different things and how you trade and how you manage and how you look at technical analysis, right? Volume, volatility, trend, momentum. The order, not necessarily that one. The way these things go on the charts, the scientific method, the iteration to improving your edge so that these things become second nature to you. One of the other ones I'd add on the top is Williams fractals, and understanding. Now, fractals themselves, the whole idea, right, cool, it works in geology. Shout out Houston Wade. But it doesn't work for charting, right? It doesn't work for technical analysis. That shit is stupid, right? Now it's okay, not having the conversation because I've got real ones to have here. But there are things that do work, and I'll tell you what they are. And all of these, including Williams fractal, is a good one. Also is the parabolic SAR. So think about that. Add that in. Ding ding. Hint hint. Nudge nudge. The gold dust that gets spits in here, but actually this is fucking full of it, this episode so far, if I can, even though it is all off the top of my head. And what is the time now? 53 minutes past, so that's nearly the top of the hour. When it is, we'll have a look at different things. I'm going to obviously cover GME and AMC a lot more, and we'll do that again at the top of the hour, and recap with what I've missed out on requests, and get through to them and see any super chats and whatnot. Thanks very much for everyone. Pardon me, who supported the channel that way. I need more drinks of tea, I think. Wow, I need lots of things. I've hardly eaten anything. Have I even eaten today? I don't think I have. Jeepers McBobsies. And that's what it is, doing this properly, and that I'm committing your mind to it. If you're like me, or you're like someone that I suspect like Frostcrest and like, hello, my lord Sir David. Learn about fractals, yeah, cool. Nice one. You'll not be able to do them properly and make money in trading, but also you will be able to you use the methodology, the learnings, their approach. It'll help you. Tradespotting. What did you say, David? SOFI request. Yes, cool. I'll get to that too. Also, thanks very much. Need to keep these in order. I'm sure I missed others too. I might have said one out loud, but I can't remember now. So, yes. So that's that. Williams Fractals that allows you to follow price action in a way that will keep you in a trade by entering stop losses at areas that are within profit. Obviously, you'd never move your stop loss away for like you'd always, once you've set it in, great. Then you'll only ever move it closer to your ultimate goal, never changing your mind or going against your convictions. That's not the way any of my doomslayers are going to behave, right? None of that shit. You're not making the mistakes that the 99% of people do. You're not making them. Your stop loss goes in, it stays there, or you move it up. That's it. And I'm going long on these. Most of these trades you're going long, so remember. And Williams Fractals will help you define where those areas you move it to are. Also, Donchian channels, right? Remember it. More gold dust. I've got videos on some of these things. It's how they work. Think about it. Where do I apply for a Tradespotting internship? Native Flight, you're doing you're a legend, mate. Thank you for all the watch time, all the likes, all the positive words, all the clips that you watch, all the things you share, all the things you do. Same for everybody else. Natural friend, thank you, GME. These lessons are worth a lot more than a $5. Cheers, everyone. Yeah, they are fucking right. They are, man. If you guys are watching along and intent on learning, you're getting good shit. So yeah, keep all that shit together, you'll make money, you'll free yourself from all the bastards that run the world, and you'll be able to make a difference to your environment you live in, and that's like an answer. Do you feel like you can't make a difference in this world? You can. You so can. And it's not all that difficult, right? I'll make it easier. It's not all that difficult. I'll break it down, make it easier for you. Diddling dong dong. And the price is 156.62 on GME, my favourite. I'm a GME man. And then AMC 3170. Love you, bite. Shout out to all brothers and sisters in AMC. And 1956. That means that's my time. That means there's 4 minutes before I have to look at their charts. I might have a cup of tea and look at other things. CLF, I talked about it quite a bit there. Let's look at SOFI and then move back to our favourites. Here's SOFI, we've got this. Nice. Love it when I've already done something on the charts. Fucking love it, mate. This is obviously part of something else too. Let's go to the weekly, let's see this. Oh, mate, there's not much going on here. You've had to do a lot of work on that, Jamie, to give some sort of answer to people. So far, so good. A lot of information coming up on screen for you here, guys, right? Your 3 fibs, the overall formation you're in, your Bollinger Bands, the simple moving average within that, your moving averages, the 250 period. Let's make them more obvious. I mean, that should be obvious enough as it is. How come I'm not seeing them, obviously? Well, I've already got your middle one and your 20 period moving average. See this moving average, right? 8. Oh, that's 8. Is it 8? That'll be different then. Let me check. 8. Well, I usually would use either an 8, like there's another tip for you, right? I'd use the 8 period moving average for measuring very bullish trends on weekly or daily time frames. It's an exponential moving average as well, so I'm careful with them. Careful. So, go eat something. We'll do shortly. Nah, but I don't know if I can yet. I've got to do a couple of things first. And so, thank you, H. Jones. $8.99 too. That's quite generous. Thank you very much. I see above that, Paul, $5. Thank you very much, Paul. So 8 period moving average, but I'd only use one of either the 8, the 20, or the 21. I'm not going to use all of them. I sometimes use 15. I'm not going to talk about why right now, because like this is not like we'll get through that. We will talk about that, and I already have done at some stage. So shout out to you if you remember that. there's your 20, your lower period, like most lowest period moving average you're likely to have on the chart. And I don't have the 8 and 20 on it at once because there's you know what you fucking doing, you fanny. That's not the way it works. Here's your 50 period and 200 period simple moving averages. They're like the most important ones if you ask me, right? Other than this, using for various different scenarios. But anyway, right, that's just the long and the short of that answer. I'm not going to have the shorter one on because I've got the Bollinger Bands on, and it comes with its own simple period moving average in the middle. And just to show you that, what it is that I've got my settings on there, inputs 21, that's what I usually use on the Bollinger Bands, as it's effectively works as the it's the middle line from which the standard deviation is taken. That'll give you your upper and lower level of the Bollinger Bands, and that line that I choose to draw that distinction from is the 21 period moving average, and that's how I do the Bollinger Bands, right? And that's how I combine these things together, right? There are other areas and inputs and other look back periods on like things like the RSI or whatever I might happen to be looking at that may work in various different scenarios, but these are the things that work together. And right, so you're looking at this and you're thinking here on SOFI there's all these reasons, right, on top of all of those, the Bollinger Bands, the moving averages, which I'm like, where a frickin' hell are they? I'm thinking when I look at this thing. I mean, turn that off and on, I'm not seeing them. Why is that? Because it's not long enough on this time frame is why, because it's too long, right? You know, they only show up, like, this is how moving averages work, right? Fuck's sake. Moving averages are an average of the price over a period of time. Each has its own look back period. So when I was saying 8, 20, 21, 55, 100, 200, these numbers, right, these are look back periods which add more and more and more candle closes, depending on which time frame you're looking at, right? Candle closes back. So a 200 period moving average on the 1 minute time frame is 200 minutes back. Candles 200 closes of the 1 minute time frame back, right? So if anyone says, look at the 200 period moving average, that doesn't mean anything until they tell you what time frame they're looking at, right? So there it is. And that shite on YouTube is fucking crazy, eh? Anyway, so this is here we go again, right? So there's your moving averages, right? And now this is why it makes a difference if you're using simple period moving averages or using exponential period moving averages. It's why crosses of them mean something. It's why the slope of them means something. It's why the splay of them means something. And it's how you take trading signals from crosses of 2 or 3 or like various implications of those crosses. There's different ways you can play it. And in doing that, there's other trades you can take. Add all that into what I've been saying. Amazing. So this is it. And because that's a look back period, the only two that I'm using are the 50 period and the 200 period, you'd need at least 50 candle closes on this weekly time frame to have a 50 period moving average, right? But there haven't been 50 weeks of this thing in its existence in order to derive a 50 period moving average. And if there is, I can't see it there on that channel in this time frame. If I drop down though to the 3-day time frame, has there been 350 days of it? I don't see it jumping out at me. 2 days, I don't see it jumping out at me, and now I'm starting to wonder if I've done all this wrong, because where is it? And there's a daily time frame. I've turned it off, that's why. Let's go back to the 3-day and see. Actually, let's go back to the weekly so I don't look like a fool. Don't see it on the weekly. Drop down to the 3-day, and there is your 50 period is showed up, right? Your 50 period moving average is now showed up on the chart because there now are 50 periods, the look back period of 50, and you can add it all together. You can go and draw an average, and then you can mark in one dot, and then the next dot, and between them it's a line, and that's your moving average. And this is the 50 simple period moving average, and it's on the 2-day time frame drop down there. Sorry, 3-day drop down to 2-day. You can see it's coming in this center line of the Bollinger Bands, which is effectively your 21 period moving average. It's crossing down through your 50. Is that a significant cross? No. And you've got this top level of this downward sloping trend that we broke through on SOFI when you hit the bottom of this, and you got your buy signal, and that was a good one. And you've got that on the 2-day time frame. You see you broke through that, retested the bottom there. You got bullish divergence on your RSI, and you had some not real signal, but super weak trend when the trend previously was down. And so that's also again like a signal there. You know, like ocular distortion, you can see something through its absence, right? In that sense, the absence of evidence is absence, right? So here you're above the 236 on this on the daily time frame, so you're moving into now looking at these Fibonacci's, and you can see you're above that 21 period moving average on this smaller time frame. You've got the 50 period moving average above you that comes in just below the 0.5 sequence Fibonacci. Here's extra good TA added all together. Above there's your 618 golden pocket. That would be a lower high. You'd want to get that and beyond, but even getting that's ambitious. So you want to be holding the 236 beforehand, then you can look at that and say that's maybe good. That would involve recapturing the 382, which is a Fibonacci at 1754, and then the 0.5 Fibonacci sequence, which is in at $18.90 spot 96. So that's what you're looking for, and you're thinking above that's a stretch. Other people would have profit taking targets in before then. Had they entered a trade here, you'd have to see if there was a reason to do that. If you're not already in it, the place to enter was lower on this thing here. Excellent trade. If I said to get that, and if I have any, I don't fucking know, right? I don't know how I did after I first looked at this. I have to go back to that account, right? Anyway, you're doing well. Looks good. Hold the 236 positive. Maybe this is your entry point anywhere in around that level, like 1650, and if that's now or if it's later, cool. Might have already happened. Sure. You're looking up. Then you've got those profit taking targets we talked about over here on the right. You can see with our most recent low from our most previous breakdown area of Fibonacci, you can see that comes in confluent with the top of this overall formation. It may well take us there. That's into late October. There's your 618. Maybe that's not as ambitious and is perhaps then reducing the risk, because you're not aiming for as much of a violent move right now. It also gives you perhaps the patience to wait for a lower entry should you be thinking I'll jump in at 17 when actually the entry is maybe just a little bit lower, 50 cents lower. Is that enough to manage your risk? Yeah, probably. Let's go down and see though. You might just enter and be fine with it. You might already be in it, because that's, like I say, this was obviously the place to take this trade. And then again, you've got the top of the Bollinger Bands there coming into your thinking now. You're up touching the top of it. If you can go out the top, that's great. You've got the center line here, that's positive slope. That's very good. You've got coming again for this meaningless class here, but you've also, you can see now, got your 200 period moving average coming onto the chart. This 200 period moving average now on the charts on the 4-hour time frame. That is significant. It's coming in at $17.71. Getting beyond that is a very big ask. If it does, that means it's significant. You can aim for the 618 and be happy, but like I say, it's a very big ask. That's not financial advice, and I can't actually kick your ass into making decisions, but I can tell you things and I can say them clearly. Let's go up down hourly time frame. You see you're actually above that. You've got a golden cross coming in with your 50 periods nuts on the hourly. So golden cross only really actually refers to the 50 period simple moving average and the 200 period simple moving average on the daily time frame. But in this instance, you can talk about similar effects. You will not get the same reliability from it trading using it as signals, but in terms of indicative of price action, there is like a narrative there, and it's like likely to continue. Is this 236 interesting? This is this 21 period moving average on your center of your Bollinger Bands. You've had a cross, a golden cross coming in on this moving average. Does it come down, touch the lower Bollinger Band, fake some people out who think it isn't going to go further, make it a really good entry in it around that 1650, 1630 level or higher, you know, because it only needs to touch one of these, and the 50 might have gone up at that stage because it is a lagging indicator and will move, so you'll be having to judge a trade on that alone is tough. You're accumulating just below overbought zone. That might be indicative of something oversold. Overbought, sorry, it might come back down, test the center line on this hourly or lower time frames. We'll see what that looks like. You've got your dominant trend obviously to the top side. Your ADX is really strong. Any downturn here is likely to be only temporary. This is strong, but it's at resistance. You know, it's at resistance. If you look left and you see here, this area around $17, that is resistance. So there's your you know, you don't need to take a trade right now. So I'd definitely say 15 minutes. You can see clearly that 236 is within like reason. The lower Bollinger Band's right on it. you've got all this positive action on your EMAs and SMAs, and that come in touch 200 here. It's in at 16, 19, 16, 20, and therefore you've got really good levels to look at in terms of, on your left, your support here. Now looking left, get your horizontal support and resistance. It's really, really important. And here you have somewhere at 15.90, $16, and so below that you'd be thinking, is this trade still on? And the next entry is like actually quite low down, so there you've got an area for a stop loss. And this is how you construct a good trade and how you trade well. There's your entry point, perhaps at this 236. It's a good one. Perhaps at the lower Bollinger Band, it's a good one. If you're up for a risk, there's your entry, and you've got various areas to enter a stop loss. But you'll have to hold it through other areas where people with more patience, should the price get there, where more patient people have waited for. And I'd suggest the first one you'd probably have to use would be, that'd be a test of the horizontal resistance there. You might not even get it. If you're really eager, you're probably going to actually enter there, just above that, and this is what people will do, but I'll work back from this to what I would do, and then you'd be left having to put a stop loss there, which is this horizontal support wick, which is in at the 200, and then you'd be like, oh, buggery. So then you're entering just more than you want to be, and you're like, pardon my language, and then you're like below the 200 period moving average there. You'd be like, now you're like having to move your stop loss further, and this is giving you this big red area. That's your risk zone. That's what you're going to lose if it goes against you, and you have to bank on potentially losing a number of them in a row before you get enough in a row correct that it pays you back for everything you've lost, and then some, to reward you for the risk you've taken. And so this area, you want it as small as possible, and that's managing your risk on a technical from a technical perspective, right? This are coordinating your trading from the technical perspective to manage your risk, is what I should say. So your entry there, your stop there, and where's your take profit? Again, it's only very low, because you're going to have areas where you're just immediately taking something off the table because you're at the top of a trend, you're at resistance on higher time frames. But if you then get retests and you're breaking out of this zone, great, you can add to your position, you can manage your risk at that time, you can do position management, you can do all sorts of other great things that'll make you more money and won't limit your upside, but will take risk off the table again and again and again. And that's how I'll help you, and you'll get to that stage. Trust me. Don't trust me, whatever, fucking do whatever the fuck you want, right? So here you've got this, as I was talking about, and you look left, look at all these areas, look at all of them, they're all really interesting. But you've also got this area on your right here, price action to expand into. And if we go back up to time frames, let's look at this on the weekly. I'll hit the auto again. It's not helping me. Let's go back then down to 4 hour. Yeah, and you can see the overall formation we're in. You can see the top side of this trade. You can see those areas we talked about, the 200 period moving average there on the 4 hour, for example, having already gone through other areas where you'll be taking profit. The 618 on the bigger fib that we're just coming through at the minute, and then it comes in around the same area as the 618 on the retrace of the little bit there. That's in at the top of this formation, say in at around $20, and then you'd be looking to have taken a lot of profit off the table by that stage. And should this then turn into some sort of breakout trade where you'll have retests, price action will go on, things will look really good, then you can manage that position. You can even manage it via other instruments, and that's how you can build in a really comprehensive trading portfolio with lots of different ways of making money. For instance, hedging your position using options, and then in that sense you can be like a real pro and not lose anything on trades that go well, and you're taking profit can eventually transfer from those positions you hodl and would like to hold that asset forever, so never have to take profit via selling even at levels that suit you, and instead you can manage that position by hedging it when it gets to those levels, holding that hedge, closing it when the price drops, so that you then are making money off the thing you're using to cover your ultimate wealth that you've just generated through your own hard work and your own decision to take control of your life. You hedge that, you take profit on the hedge, and then you let the price go, you let your position free again as price rises, and you make money and you make money and you make money and you make money and you make a difference. 4 hour. Yeah, so $20. And like, how do you want to manage that? Well, imagine you were really good at hedging your bets. Imagine you were really good at using different trading instruments, which you will get, but if you stick around, then you could trade this like a breakout trade. I've got videos on that too. You could manage this position. You could open up an options trade that will make you so much fucking money, and you'll have literally shit all risk, right? And you could just manage that with a volatility type of options trade, and you'd make so much money. Anyway, that's the way this shit works, and it's not financial advice, and there's SOFI, and that's the trade, and that's what you're looking at. And thank you very much for the donation. I'm going to make a cup of tea, and thank you for everybody tuning in. There's 223 of you apparently. Back in the day, I had 1,000 people live, all at once. 223 people. You guys are getting the fucking good shit, right? This is like in Scotland. There's this human right of free education. Scotland's so very good at these things, and one of the concerns then is not whether or not like you get an education. It's like how many like class time each pupil gets with the teacher. That's important, right? And with this, you get 100% of my time. That's one of the benefits of this medium. People slag off YouTubers. It's like, where the fuck else am I going to do this at, right? Give me a better platform for changing the world. So like this is it, right? Well, whatever. What was I talking about? Yeah. So like you're getting a lot of FaceTime with the teacher if you want to look at it like that. And questions, it's very difficult to get all of them like. But it is also like when I do get an answer for everybody explained in a very good way, and if you don't understand what I've said, I'll explain it in a different way, right? You want me to do it and you didn't understand it, I won't just repeat myself. You know, it's not that kind of a teacher here. I'll tell you in a different way to help you understand. I'll explain it in a completely different way if I'm talking about the same thing. If you want me to talk about the same thing in a different way, I'll do that too. Tradespotting, when buying call option, and how does the transaction work? If I were to go for the 100 shares on an exercise call, do I have to pay more or just the premium? Very smooth brain ape. In order to buy an option, like a call option, right? So you're buying the thing, so it's going long, and it'll have an expiry date. On that expiry date, when you get the contract, it's a call option, and it'll have an expiry date, and it'll have a premium. And to buy the right to later exercise that option on that expiry date or before, whatever, you'll need to pay the premium up front. You'll pay for a lot, which is 100 shares, and when it comes to expiry, you'll then have to pay the 100 times the price of the asset that you bought on your call option, which you've only got the right to buy for having paid the premium. You haven't paid to have the thing yet, and therefore you're going to need to, if you want to exercise, have the capital there ready to pay for the thing at the price that you agreed, right? And so that's why that strike price of that option contract is important. And that's like the basic, let's take away the essential things you need to know about that question, I think. Little to mess. So yes, you'd have to pay the premium, and then you'd have to pay to exercise the thing. Generation Ape, welcome to Chimp. Thank you very much, Generation Ape. Banana Free Tradespotting, FYI, I think the Mocho Labs has request for UA on 5 min and daily time frames. Okay, cool. UA, let's see, you have to add that ticker. UA. Hi, we got the old Under Armour, huh? People be out and about again playing the sports, and they'll be needing their Under Armour, which is another, I think that's a nice way of saying vests. And they've done well. Excellent there. Excellent. Tradespotting. You ever buy anything on the OTC market? Yeah, I mean, like, it's not like some people think about OTC markets as being like the alleys in Amsterdam, or like when you were buying parties favors or whatever. Like, it isn't like that. It's just loads of brokers, just the interface and all that. It's all like, loads of different times, mate. Right, yo, Tim, Yo, how's it going, Tim, by the way? Literal dumbass, Tradespotting, thanks, Jamie. No problem, mate. You're so welcome, my friend. You're super welcome, literal dumbass. And everybody else who got anything from it. So we're supposed to be looking at UA here. What time frame is this on? 5 minutes in daily. Well, I've never looked at it before, so I'm going to have to actually give you everything briefly on it. I'll add this to dark blue so you can see a tiny little bit over here on the right of these things I've been asked to look at, and I usually color code them by how I feel about them. So they're blue if they're neutral, and they're green if they're good, and they're red if they're a piece of pish, which has like happened to a couple like Kodak and a couple others I've looked at. It's just been like, get fucked with this, by the way. Anyway, so and Hood. So you've got no, but not actually. I didn't, because I'm not like the TA on Hood is like avoid it, but the message on it, but the TA on Kodak is it's fucked. Right. So here you're looking at this. Look left. Let's stick it on the weekly and get a better picture of things. Well, that was a big drop. Since it started, it's never really done that fantastic. I'm still feeling it put in higher highs on the weekly. 3-day time frame, same story. You've had what looks to be a bump and run type of bottom. No, that's not a proper supply line there. You've had a head and shoulders within that and a triple top, and that's what's happened here. This has come up. Put in that area. This is what's happened with the story of this thing, right? It launched. It was a piece of shit. It went down to where people thought, my goodness, it's actually really is a piece of shit. It bounced up again. It came into like this breakdown failure point here as like that, and it's a range where it actually failed across these body candles, and where it retested it after it went below it, and that area's in and around there. Once it did that, it came up, it was this awful, it came up and it tested that area again, and when it was above it, it was putting in negative formations. You can see within here there is, where's my drawing tool? There is, this is a shoulder here. This area is like a head, and then this area didn't even manage to pick it up again. There's your next shoulder area. That overall, that is also like a rounded top, or also within that you can call that a triple top, or some people would say it's a double top because the third one was just so weak, but it was crap. And the whole time within this formation you can see that you were putting in bearish divergence on your RSI. So the constitution of this being an uptrend, you can see it is had higher highs and higher lows. That's an uptrend. At the same time, on your oscillator that measures the momentum, you can see that actually the strength of trend was going the other way, and all of these highs were then not actually very, very good. And so you could anticipate 1, 2, 3 touches of divergence. Right now you'll have heard Tradespotting say that sort of thing again. On a freaking t-shirt. On those third touch of divergence, you've got a really good entry signal, and here you go. And this one was a fucking collapsed, and that's what this happened so far. And it's come back up since. It's come back up, and now you're again at that decision line, that one that is existentially important for this ticker, in at around $22. You're at it again. Would I suggest holding a trade beyond there? Well, whoops. That initially, that wouldn't seem to make much sense, would it, at this point, if you're talking about that sort of thing? And you may have heard about this because it's doing that, and because it's significant in the news in advance of it, who don't understand anything, because that's the way news works, don't understand anything, be getting all excited, and your emotions will be getting excited, and you'll think this is a way to make money, despite knowing that there's hundreds of thousands of other things out there that you could actually be making money on, but you don't hear about them. Or how do you get in touch with them when you've heard about this? And the reason you're hearing about it is because it's already doing something. It's already done all of what it's going to do, likely, having got to that area of resistance. Let's see, though, the strength of this thing. Beyond that, you have to make decisions. Yeah, cool, you've had a positive cross there, that's important, but you're up touching the 38 on Rocky Outcrop DMI. You've also got shit all going on probably on your ADX in terms of strength of trend, so this hasn't got the legs yet, but if it kicks through and it breaks through certain areas, it will. You've just broken into the overbought area on your RSI, and you look left, you can see that's cool and that, but it's like you're asking it to get higher than RSI itself. So start putting in an RSI swing failure at the top side if it doesn't itself go higher than 78, and it's only currently at 67, and getting up there is rare for it. It often breaks down, as you can see here, really where it is at the minute if we drop on another horizontal. And so you're seeing, like, here's where areas of support and resistance come in on your oscillators that dictate the momentum. So then price action is king, and we've worked from that angle, but you're looking at adding in extra value to the decision making process, and you can see, well, look, drew that on there, you think about that, it's like into your overbought zone, you know, it's hitting like horizontal support and resistance. It's very significant. Do you want to enter trades here? No, you want to take profit at places like this. Or when price action, alternatively, price action breaks above it and goes on, fantastic. But what's a reliable candle open and close above it? Well, here you've had 1, 2, 3 of a 30-day time frame, and it still wasn't enough. So nothing in terms of opening closes is important enough to give you an entry here in my trading strategy. You're above the 200 period moving average there, but let's drop straight down to the daily above the 200. You've had a positive cross here. Since then, you've not had a test of the two. You have. There's your test of the 200 from the cross. It took a while that you got it. Price action moved up. That's perhaps a headline though, and that ceiling's maybe here. Let's see. You're on this daily time frame. You can see the RSI is at such a high level. Like historically, let's go back. It has never been here, and when it has, like twice. 3 times. That's always also been this high on price action, and that's like gold dust. This information, once you understand what you're looking for and how to figure out it's gold dust. And look, and remember how important this was for the thing, right? This was fucking Pangea for this, right? You know, archaeologists in future will go back and they'll be like, my goodness, look, they've got like clay necklaces, and like, wow, look, they've got a microwave, and that, you know. Choose lights, choose electric, 10 openers, choose Tradespotting, power yourself. And so that price action looks great. You're tracing the top Bollinger Band, you're outside of it, you're also like doing well in terms of your moving averages. But if you drop back down there, down to 4 hour, inside here, you're likely come in, you've got your cross potentially, you'll have a test of that, you might have another test of 200. This is really extensive. Like the trend here, your ADX on the Rocky Outcrops DMI, if you look down at the indicator below here, look how extended that is above the 38. Your positive strength of trend going really good. But what does that tell you? Perhaps it's already happened, right? RSI topping out there, touch of divergence with a higher high but a lower high in your RSI. It's bounced off the top of the oversold zone. It's going to come back down again. We'll see where it reaccumulates and that, and how bullish that is. And when I say that, like, there's lots of extra things you can learn about this indicator, and that's dictated by partly where this comes down to. Is it the top of the oversold zone? Is it the center line? Is it the top of the oversold zone, overbought zone, over center line, or oversold zone? And this is the shit, man. I'm putting so much into this office just episode just because of KT's kindness coffee. Thank you very much. You sent it to me for free, and it really fucking appreciate it. It's changed my days, really has done. Thank you. And hopefully, right, this will form some for this video. This hopefully, like, when this has happened, this thing that we're all looking at, not this particular ticker, but we're all doing here, this will be, or anyone who joins along the journey and gets referred back will see these sorts of videos and they'll say, wow, you know. And it's like a course in and of itself, what I've already told you today, and you can add all that and you can learn so much, and you can add that with other people's videos, like Roaring Kitty's fundamental analysis. You put that together with this type of technical analysis, and you pick the things you're going to trade and invest in over your life, and you use this type of way of managing your positions, and that, boom, right? Combine those two things, change your fucking life. Touch the top of that Bollinger Band, escaping above that, and the horizontal is going to be difficult. You've got reasons to retest lower, and you can see that overall this is had most of its move. Let's go down, see in the 15 minutes. Have you got shitloads of divergence? Yes, you do. You've got accumulation though at this area. We've got a Rick and Morty thing here, but it's a negative cross that's happened. It's already kind of failed. You can see 1, 2, 3. That wasn't bad. Stretch out price action. 1, 2, very extended. 1, 2, 3 touches on the end. Lower on RSI, not terrible, but you've already had your divergence from back here. Let's see if it keeps going and on above, great, but I don't know. You're more likely looking at this 200 period moving average. 200 period moving average, as I've told to people before, that's a really good test of trend. Price bounces at that, confirmation of a really good entry, really good trade, and that's where you might look at and enter in this UA if it comes back there. That might be, like I say though, this is very difficult, and you'd have to manage your risk in terms of stops and whatnot, and instead it might be there's your entry before it. You can see this is only the 15 minute though, so I'm not going to do that for entries. It's all about your retest back here, your 200 period moving average. You can see right above it, price action's trending up. Below it, trends down until it significantly breaks it. When it fails, it continues its downtrend and puts in a lower low. Breaks above it, comes across. The question is, does it put in a higher hole, right? I'm giving you more information now on how you use just a moving average on price action. It comes above it and it makes a higher high than its previous high when it last tested it. So that's great. It comes back down and it's like, well, now it fails. Come back down. Is it going to make a lower low than the last time it was below it? It does. Right, it does. So then your question is, even if it does make it above it, is it going to put in a higher high than last time it was above it? It does make it above it. It gets above these previous areas of resistance, puts in a lower high than when it previously failed through it. Not great. You're going to then say, well, it's likely, having done a trend of lower lows and lower highs, going to do it again. So up here you've got a trade signal that you're going to get a trade that'll go all the way down there. And what is the move on that? Ultimately, knowing that you're going to get it nearly guaranteed, because look at all these touches of 1, 2, 3, 4. Within that, lows 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times already it's hit it. You know you're going to get a lower low. And the move on that, percentage wise, 15%, with a stop loss of which would be like absolutely sweet F all. You're at a risk reward that's massive, and you've got shitloads of different reasons to enter that trade. And that's another way to print money, right? I'm going to make 1,000 of you guys, and I'm going to chuck them over at Rocky, and he's going to have 1,000. Then you're going to fucking make so much of a difference to the world and your community. So there's your entries. Looking at on smaller time frames, you might think that 200 period moving average in 50 is done. 4 hour, you'd say, well, actually, it's in here. You've got a golden cross. Likely you'll have a test at around 1871. Perhaps that's where you get this if you're desperate to buy this. On the daily time frame, you can see a test of the 200 would necessitate breaking through this sentinel line, but you have put in positive moves. It's just you're historically high in your RSI. It may be that this formation gets tested beforehand, and where is the important line? So it's the breakdown level on your left here, so we draw a horizontal in there. You've got an entry around 1826. You've got a risk. You manage your risk with the 200 period moving average at around 1722, and this is if you're desperate to take this, and you can shave off the zones based on other TA that you do yourself. And from this timeline, having looked down, put on the daily time frame, we'll go back to the 5 minutes in the daily, but I'd suggest that something like that would be my entry. A little bit cheeky, because I'd look for a fake out, I'd look for a drop below this previous resistance, and I'd look to see it touch below the 200, and then I'd look to see it put in a higher low on this area, and I'd like something in around 1743 as an entry, because I'm like that. So you can try something else. I'd also put my stop loss in then, instead of at the 200, just below its previous resistance here at this, and that would be your way of managing your risk on your low. And then on the top side, you've got this again. This is just thinking for a long, and I'm not necessarily wouldn't take a long. This actually looks more like a short. Should it get here again, or right at the minute right now, that'd be your end. That'd be where you take a lot of your different profits. And if you really think this is going to work, then a trade longs opening above after lots of significant closes opening above that area. It may well be that you want the short side of this trade, which is really easy to take too. You're kind of at it at the minute. You're so there your stop loss can go in where you want it. I mean, these are other areas it's broke from before, so you may watch price action and see it go up, but you could easily just take it now. Your stop loss, something like that there, like if it breaks that, you know you're definitely wrong. You can cover that trade. That's a huge move, but like there's your like take profit, your 200, and your risk reward on that one's something like 1.2. But you'd have to look for, I would say you'd have to look for a better stop loss than that, preferably like it would be really tight. You can see that the RSI is very extended. You can see that there is a touch of bearishness already. You might not even need it. There'll be like danger and fake out, so I'd manage that entry and that stop manually if I was trading this myself. But just to give you as an illustration of what might happen, previous area where there's maybe a gap there, take that as your stop loss. That's where you take profit. Here, no. Back down here, yes. Test of the center line of your Bollinger Bands on the daily time frame, or your 50 period moving average, or this horizontal line at 1826. That may be where you take a lot of your profit off the table, and then you can just manage that process and say, like, maybe this drops even more, and you get it all the way down to here with a stop loss following it down, and you only exit when the price comes back, and it keeps going. And like, where you want to follow that to, right? I mean, we've already dictated that on the higher time frames, it's going in and putting lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, and this is coming up for again for an existential test of this really important area. If it fails again, everyone's going to be looking at putting in a lower low, and you're looking at a trade that takes you down here. And where is that? Like, let's just get rid of the indicators. Just take this off. That's just your previous low. If it's like in line right now, it's unlikely to do this because it's just simple ass stupid Fisher Price TA gain. But if it is in line with that there, you know, you're looking at something that could potentially be a trade of taking you down to $4 something. That's a trade with a risk reward of like 9 to 1. And you could manage so much of that with the house money because you take yours off reasonably soon, take some profit, make like you've got your money back and some profit as well, and then let it run with a stop loss that follows it down. You follow it down, and you take it where you want to, and maybe it makes it all the way down a lower low, and at that point you're like, nice one, I got loads of money. And that's how you trade that short. You'd also have this other trade on the right where you could start covering it from. Here's your cover long, and you get in there, and that makes you some money. You close it with a stop loss that follows price action up. It's always in profit, cuts you out. You've like made everything you made in this trade still safe, and then that continues on. It goes down again. You're making money all different ways, and not only are you making all different ways, the reason for having those other trades was to keep you safe, right? So trading safe makes you more money. Isn't this awesome? So that's how you'd look at that. That's UA. And I'm really going to get that cup of tea. What is the time now? It is, we're into power hour. It's 33 minutes past. And I hope this has been a good stream. And if you think so, hit like and share it with people and get a message out there. I got a shout out there last night, I think it was from Elite Shot or Elite, what was it? Elite Shot, Elite Snipe, or Elite One? I don't know. Can't remember now. Shit, sorry. His YouTube channel's got 1 million subscribers. They're playing games. Thousands of people tuning that. Massive, amazing shout out message that Rick Rocky shared it on Twitter. Thanks, guy. Thank you very much, mate. And like, if you've got any sort of an audience and you think this can help people, share it with them, right? They don't have to have millions of dollars. They can have nothing and be turning up here. I'm not going to take their money off them if they haven't got anything. I want to help people, so share the message. Like, get on your platform, please put the message out there. And if you've got people who can who listen to you, tell them if you believe this is good info, share it, help them, right? We all help each other, and the better the community gets, the better. So there is no clique, there is no reason that anyone, no friction to anyone joining you, and you don't even have to like me because Rocky's a completely different personality. You might like him, and it's all the same thing at the end of the day. So here's some money. There you go. GME 159.47. 50-minute time frame. See that. Zoom in a little bit more. You took a bounce off your 200 period moving average on your 50-minute time frame, the lower side of this channel. That was positive. We'll see things come up. Going to conquer that 236 again at 161.52. Move on again. Your higher levels 171, and then above that you're looking at Fibonacci extensions beyond the previous Fibonacci, and that's just, the top of that move is like 180 stuff, and then you're looking at 192, and that's all like, it's all laid out there in lines in front of you, but there is a big gap here, and so what comes in, I would suspect that it would be, should you get through here and should you get up there, where's the period of indecision? Well, it's right, happens to be obvious when you look left, and around 185, 186, 187, but we'll err on the side of caution just to see if price action does anything should it take a jump, and that's actually quite far. You'd have to get beyond this downward sloping supply line from this formation that we're in. That's not really real, is it? I've just drawn that on to illustrate something at one point. It's more like that. And that's where's that coming at? In around 168. So that's the area you're looking at again. Opening closes above that. We call it a zone to 171. Talking about 4 hours, open and close above, fantastic. At the end of the day, that would be the ceiling you'd be looking at. The truth is, you'd actually be thinking lower, probably the 236 on this fib on the left, 161, spot 36. Anything above there would be very, very positive. AMC 31.98. Oops. God, I'm doing this wrong. Come on. There. And then AMC. 200 period moving average there, top of that channel there, price action down at 236. Asking yourself, does it go up again, test a lower high? Does it go down again, put in a higher, lower high? And that's what I'd be thinking. There's your basis line coming through. It's still the same thing you're looking at. Down below $30, 29 something. Below that, you're looking at a drop of another $5. Top side, you've got 200 period moving average, you've got your 50 period cross there. It may come up, put in a lower high and fail. It may just weakly drop down below the 236. That's your point of distinction at the minute. That's the roundabout, that's the the area you're looking to in terms of price, $31.26. Maintain that, it'd be very good. At the end of the day, I'd expect it to. So we'll see. Might be a good re-entry on AMC because of the earnings news, but actually, the charts say lower is possible. So looking at that, thinking about that, das is the way of this. Right, so that's that. I'm going to now go and make a cup of tea and come back for the Land of Power Hour, which is only in like 7 or 8 minutes. Won't have time to eat anything, and then see what I've missed. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for everybody. This stream is among the best I've ever watched of yours. I'm loving your tutorial aspect. Please do not stop ever. Lol, Stefan. You're welcome, Stefan, my friend. His YouTube counter is broke, lol. Is it? I've got 223 there. That's alright. Well, is it really? I don't know. I can't check either because I have to go and do this other stuff. But thanks very much. I imagine it'll drop now that I'm going to take a quick break, though it is well deserved if you ask me. But that doesn't mean people are going to stick around. You've got other shit to do with your lives. I totally appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. If you do leave, make sure you hit like. But what's coming up is the best bit where I do the last 15 minutes. People get excited. They like to see it. I like to do it. And we've got a nice relaxed day, so I'll cover it now. And what else? Oh, after this little interjection, and then what is also, this tells me what I've missed. I'll cover any of the messages I've missed. OGCN was the super chat a while ago. Awesome, thanks for keeping me on to date, sir. David P. Malod. You hear that earlier? There's an important message for all moderators across this channel, Rocky's, and his Discord, and anyone who's got aspirations to do that sort of thing as well. And has somehow demonstrated that they're helping people, preferably around 100 or more at least. If you can do that, and that includes every moderator, even if you're recent to the mine, like Luke and Daniel and David and Harriet, all of yous, especially you, Harriet, and all of those people I just mentioned there, especially all of you, like you've all got to watch that bit at the start of the video, the housekeeping section, where I talk about what I need from you. So please do that, anyone. Also, people that have contributed something like really well. If you think you have, you're probably right. Get in touch with me either on the Discord, on the marketing channel part of the Discord, or in the moderator room thread on the Discord, or via DM on Twitter. If you can't get to those two other places, definitely do that. So thank you very much. I'm going to have a cup of tea. I'll also leave up the AMC, and I'll leave up the 1 minute chart. And if any of the moderators are able to keep people to tell them what's up and just keep them for 7 or 8 minutes, knowing I'll be back and that. And if I had a segment from Rocky now, there is Rocky with a nice heart, I'd play it. That's one of the things that we're going to have on the go soon. It'll be amazing. Electro Boy, yes, what do you mean? Says Deborah Electro Boy is making GIFs, NFTs of everyone who's contributed to the channel and the message, and you're all going to get immortalized in an NFT and a GIF that's based on a particular style. Anyway, he'll explain it to you. It's cool as. We need a picture. It doesn't have to be of you if you don't want it to be, but like one that you want it to look like, of a celebrity or whatever, a football player, whoever you want, right? Don't make it anyone else that's getting this done, because then it'll be confusing. But like a picture of you, ideally, or if you don't want to give your identity, totally cool, totally understand. It doesn't have to be. You might just want an avatar of somebody you admire that represents your name or whatever. That photograph, one photograph or image, a theme, and an accessory, right? Which could be an accessory that either somehow works around your head, like a sunglasses, a hat, a pipe you'd smoke, a bong, whatever, right? That sort of thing. It might just be a protractor. I don't know if you're into maths, and what are they for anyway, right? And a compass, like well, I know what a compass is for but anyway, it's just shit they teach you, right? I'm not going to teach you any shit around here, right? So anyway, we're covering this and that move. Anyway, I'm not doing tea. I'm going for a cup of tea. Yo, thank you very much. See you in a minute. and other things just running through the markets. I wasn't talking as much because I was exhausted, and retest of it, retest of it, retest of it, above it, retest of it, broke down below it, all the way down here, which is this previous low. So did all that. Not only has it got this test of this 200 potentially, also has a fairly obvious and huge gap. So let's say you just take that risk off the table of a higher move, take it down to the top of filling that gap. That's at $38.91, so it's still over 100% upside. You've hit the bottom Bollinger Band. It's a 4-hour time frame. You come back up to the center. Hello there, messages I see come in. I think I did a subscription upgrade, by the way. Awesome, milady. Thank you very much, milady. It's very much appreciated. So upgrades on the subscription on these. There's other ways I can help in the channel by clicking the links in the description. Thank you very much. Milady and everybody else. If you upgrading subscriptions, amazing. Thank you. Tradespotting sent a super about an hour ago during university level TA. Interested in your thoughts and appreciate hearing different opinions. On what was it? On DJBG? What does it? Does that even your name? What did I just see there? DJBD. What's the super chat on? Why can't I see that? So annoying. Stephen Hancock. Intro to Pickle on Houston's interview. He disagrees AMC will even hit 1K and very negative. Will you discuss AMC tomorrow? Interested in your thoughts. With Pickle, I don't know if he wants to talk about AMC at all. I wouldn't expect so. But I'll try answering it for you during my show tomorrow. H. Jones goes on to eat. What did I miss? Hey, Jamie. Love your content as always. Keep up the good work. Can I take a look? I'll see it. Okay, I did that one. Thank you. These lessons are worth far more than fiber. Okay. I don't want to keep going back. What have I missed though? Hey, teach people risk management. How are they supposed to learn to be afraid of the market? Cheers, mate. That's obviously having a joke there. There's Daniel Groves. Cheers, Daniel. That's a good one. Didn't see that. That's funny. I'm all in GME, but also he read that time. Amber. Remember reading Amber. Thank you. Thank you. Hope your hubby is okay and gets better. And we covered CLF, so I don't know what I missed, but I can't see it there. But just tell me again, and I'll do it. Whatever it was. What was it on? Super about ergo during my TA. Interested in my thoughts. Appreciate your different opinions. Maybe you weren't asking anything. You were just saying some thanks. In which case, you're totally welcome. If it was something specific, just let me know. Cool. How's it going, Weezer, buddy? You know what I mean, Almo. Case, thank you. Little big love. Hi, Case. How's it going, everybody? Right, okay, I think we've covered everything. I don't know, I'm supposed to be on a live stream with somebody else talking right now. JP on Twitter. So I have to go and check on that. In the meantime, what we were looking at here, this thing, what was it? For H&T, yeah, we were talking about the upside on this. Well, I mean, there's just this thing to trade, like Jeepers Creepers, right? Obvious opportunity on that is the upside thing. We've looked at this and talked about this before, haven't we? I've not actually done any charting on it though. Like the bottom of that gap's also the 200, so in there you'd have a line. And then the breakdown area here, so like there's lots of areas in this you'd look to. There's also just above your top Bollinger and 50 period moving averages. If you get above open and close one above this central line, you'll have like a horizontal here, at which point there may be, right, you can get excited about this because of this move potential up here, but that could take infinite amount of time. So if you're in options trade, you're going to have to manage your risk on the x-axis, that's like with regards to time, very, very well. And obviously that's very difficult to do if you're thinking, this is 3D charting, right? So how are you going to do that? We add the extra dimension from the X and the Y and you mitigate. So whenever you get anywhere near an important line, you take some profit here. And that would be the first one, probably likely was the top Bollinger Band and the 50 period moving average. If you get above here, which has already done really well to get up here, great move so far. Then you'd look at taking profit up there. You might even take it now, right? You might even take it now if you're in an options trade and that sort of thing. A tiny bit, well, if you could, who knows what you'd be doing with it. And then, little bits of money, they all help, right? And then you take profit. Working backwards from the top side on this, where I'd have very little left in the trade, would be $38. Below that, it's $29. Below that, I'd have taken significant amounts by 22, and you'd be looking to take something off the table at about 17, spot 15, and you're already thinking at this minute it's tempting to play it safe with a tiny little bit, depending on what you'd put in already. At the bottom of this move, it looks like there's really good reasons to get in. Whoops. Just at a really quick glance, this low here is higher, obviously. This low here is lower. You've this series of bullishness at these lows. That was good. You've got coming in for a test of this trend. It'll come in at the top of this area here, and then you'll see what this indicator shows you on Alright, RSI, rocket outcrops RSI with the GME. When it retests that and try to reclaim the centre ground at the same time, you've got your rocket outcrops DMI, which will come in for a Rick and Morty ellipse, and you'll see if that gives the flash at the background. If it did, volatility, whatnot moves. And you're looking at these areas up here. I'm going to say 29 actually, make that down at the bottom of that gap where the body close was, and you see it's actually 27.60. That top one where the gap is, let's take across left and say it doesn't even fill it, but instead it gets just to this high here, and then you see there's other areas where you may instead take profit and just leave a little bit on to see what happens, or you may take some at these levels might be adequate for your move, and you might think, well, hey, if you're in a long, if you got anywhere in down here, fantastic. If you're entering still, like there's your entry, there's your stop. Depending on which one of these levels you go for, you'll define your risk reward. It doesn't mean it's going to get you any higher, dragging it higher. It's not the way it works. It's, if anything, the opposite. Anyway, you got levels in here and you take profit on them and that, all the way through there. And you got a good trade. Like that's over 10 to 1, doesn't really matter what it is, right? But it's over 10 to 1, so fantastic. It actually looks like closer to 15 to 1. But like that's the way you talk about these things. You don't give a shit about it. This is a 12.5 to 5, right? Don't start saying things like that. It's still silly. If you ever say to anyone you're even taking something like, oh, this is a 2 to 1 trade, they'll also think you're silly. So like these are like actually crazy land where you're thinking about taking profit, significant areas, obviously, all the time. And then here's a very big one. It's important above you. The very first one you get to, the very first orange line above us is this area where it broke down from before. And while hopes and dreams are like made up here, profits are taken here. And this is overall Tradespotting, and I'm Jamie, and this is the place to be where you will be able to find the ends and the means to help you towards those hopes and dreams. So thank you very much. I'm going to check out 2 reverse splits too. Yeah, no, I mean, like the amount, chances are, like, it could easily have filled the jets, go crazy, the amount of people that could be in it, the things that could happen. You just got to be like, obviously, risk management is the queen, and like price action is the king, and together, like, that's how you rule the charts. Right, so thank you very much. And this has been an episode full of different content delivered in various different ways to help you and get better at doing this. And all of my experience put into a digestible format that, like, if you watch it back, I promise you'll help yourself. And if you share it with somebody, you'll help them. And you'll also be really helping me and the channel, and all of that stuff really helps the message. And if you saw any of the TA I did, verbal stuff, the crayons, the silent TA about GME, then you'll be really, really, really positive. So my message about it is positive, and if you help the message, you help spread that word. That's great. So thank you very much. And it starts with doing things like hitting the like button. So if you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. It's super easy to hit the like button. If you're watching this back afterwards, which I hope lots of people do, lots of different times, because I'm not going to go through all these lessons again. You know, like you can get directed to chat case here, right, in chapters and that. You can get directed to the TA on these chapters in this video, in future episodes, when I ever mention any of the concepts or indicators that I talk about in future, and people are like, well, how do you use this and how do you do that, right? Even if you pay me $20 and ask me about it, the answer will be, you go to this episode and you check the chapters and you find the answer there. That's the answer. And so it's an important episode for that reason, because all the different things are covered. I'm not going to do that all over and over and over again, right? Now, I don't realize, people probably don't realize the concept of the value that I've just delivered in today's episode. And it's rarely measured back in terms of like the donations, which it isn't like today, of course, right? Now, and I'm not asking for money or whatever, I'm not saying it, but people say, ooh, look at all the stuff he does right now and all the money he gets. Well, if not today, chat revenue, $70. And I'm not asking for money. I'm certainly not asking it for people who keep giving me it all the time. That's not what I'm saying now. I'm saying I don't actually make money off doing this. That's not, and you add it all up, when the really amazing days on top of it, it still doesn't actually, it's a net negative in terms of that. And I'm not being negative. I'm dead positive about what we're doing here. I'm just saying. Like, you know, I'm just saying. That's the way these things work. Right, so, enjoy the content, get the most out of it. I'm doing it for you, obviously. That's what I'm demonstrating here. And I got a PayPal donation from somebody, so I'll check that. You know, H. Jones message removed. What is that saying? Jay, about 40 minutes ago. What is the PayPal, the super chat message? Tradespotting, advert leading to your stream asked if I wanted to be a 6-figure trader. I got this script because I'm a GM holder and 6 figures installing. Oh yeah, what a fucking message. Cheers, Weezer. Tradespotting, immeasurable value, incomprehensible quality, unreasonable to boot. Oh, fantastic. I'm glad you think so. You yourself vivacious and loquacious. Thank you very much for tuning in. It was totally bodacious on all of this. Who the heck cares if you get money? Lol, make money. It's okay. You can make money. You can change your life. I'll help you do it. And this stream's an example of it. And I do it for you and for the long-term benefits so that you can change the world, make the world better. Right? Overall, that's the net benefits I'm looking at, yo. And I want you to remember, if you're a moderator at the start of this show, there's information that's important for you to watch. And I mean a moderator here or anywhere else across any of the communities. And thank you very much. I'll see you maybe later if I'm on. I don't know if it's a YouTube. I think it's a space call. So and I don't know how they are. And I think I'm late. And I don't know. Maybe I'm in trouble. Let's find out. And maybe it's on Twitter. I don't know how it works. And I've not even got logged into my Twitter on my computer. It's all on my fucking phone because that's how I like to argue. I like to keep my arguments on my phone. Top tip: keep your bedroom clean. Have your arguments on your phone. Trust few. And always paddle your own canoe. And there's also people say like, I'll never go to sleep in an argument, but that's not true, right? What you want to do is you want to make sure that you're very far away from the people that you had an argument with when you go to sleep, because then you can always wake up the next morning and have a head start on how far the fuck you want to get away from them. Okay, cool. Those are the top tips to end the video. Thank you very much. Everybody, Tradespotting super chatted for the OGCN. Everybody did it during Silent TA. You're damn right I did it during Silent TA. I did amazing efforts on the Silent TA for OGCN. It was pretty darn epic. Tim Malone asking a very, very, very specific question. How am I supposed to answer that without breaking the rules, Tim? Really, come on. Think about it. Think about the position you're putting me in there asking that question. Come on. Oh, sugar, Riblux. You got it, Electro Boy. You got it, Electro Boy. You deserve it. So here we go. Riblux. Hello, Riblux. How are you, Riblux? I am very good, Jimmy. Is that his dog pocket? No, it's not. Oh, nice move. I really should have come prepared for this. You did warn me. Electro Boy. Down. Electro Boy. Right. This thing is amazing. Right? Love to see this. Start of a fucking good shit, man. To come back here. I mean, how long are you planning on holding this for? If it's a couple of years, right? Holy sugar, this has had a good start, man. Put some... Yes, that was so good, that start of this thing. Boom, that, catching that, man. Even if there's the whole fucking world falls apart, right? Boom, $65. But that's not going to happen. There, you got in with this. This is good entries. Good entries for people here. Lower, higher. Ooh. Now you're up at this area where people are going to FOMO into it. This is FOMO in, right? Where they have to then live underwater for a while. These people who buy now, people who are trading this to make money and pay their bills, probably sold it earlier today. They might be looking for a bit to go on, but that money that's left in that trade won't be anything that they would have otherwise had to pay a bill with. Like, you'd rather have a cross on tomorrow than you would, like, hope for a pan of chocolate at the end of the month, right? You just take that move, right? You just do that, and then you'd re-enter should you ever get a retest of these things below, and you've got a positive move there. It might be a retest of this 50 at some point. Surely it might even come in at the area you're at now, should prices even go on above, which is an important area. Above here you've got others, and that's where they look like. And this is the story of this thing over the next wee while. We'll take that, we'll draw on Fibonacci retracements. We'll do a couple. Do the first one, talk about what it managed to do. Came back, came into the golden pocket that was in around here on this retracement from its really strong trend. That's a good one. At that time that it did that, positive signature on the strength of that trend and a retest of this historic level. Say that as much as it's possible, but that retest made it so. And then up above again, if you got anything like that, it'd be again, if you're already in the trade this, they'll take some profit, hold it on, because the levels are above are good if it gets it. Go down and look at that in a minute. But it also got really good re-entries on this. It looks positive. This is the sort of thing that's going fabulous right now. It's not been long enough, very long, but there is this thing you can do in technical analysis right now. This, ladies and gentlemen, if you've made it to this part of the episode, my goodness, are you in for a technical analysis treat? This is it. This is the big moment. People say you can't do TA on certain things, and they'll often tell you they can't do it on something that's been around just this short amount of time this thing has, right? It's not got a 200 period moving average on the 4-day time frame yet. They'll say it's impossible, but I'll tell you, this is how you do it. It's kind of magic, right? Watch this. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. Magic. Absolute magic. Okay? Magic. Magic, magic, magic. And if you're using this episode as a study to get better at these sorts of things, and you want to take it on, and this episode get some attention from people who are learning things, you could scale that chart. You could put GAN indicators on it, on chart GAN indicators. You could work out linear progressions on that time frame and above. You'd work out fib-based time zones. You could do all sorts of different analysis on the x-axis. You could do Wyckoff distribution on a point and figure chart, and then you could then have done all of that, have taken time screenshots at different levels, and have put in some technical analysis and come back to me with a target based on other things that I've talked about, how to draw targets and that, and what you think the technical analysis is for Rublix over the next 2 to 6 months. And if you're really feeling like it, go give me it for the next 12 months. Like, and you, if you want it, and I'll give you feedback on your TA and that. But just make sure you put in a serious amount of effort, and don't expect a serious amount of effort back from me, because you won't get it, right? But like, and I'll not even fucking interested in replying to you if you're not putting in effort, and that it'll be about helping you. So like, don't expect me to put in shitloads of time like getting back to you. It'll just be a little bit in it, and you'll put in a lot of effort. Then I'll get back to you, and that's like the fact that I've got back to you is like, well done, right? You did a good job. Otherwise, it's like, well, I didn't think you did that good. And you can do that to me, and you can just send me a DM on Twitter, and at the same time, or if you're like in any of, oh, actually, fuck it, that'll just be Twitter, yeah, just DM me on Twitter, like underscore Tradespotting, and I'll get back to you on that stuff. So, and that doesn't cost anything. So yeah, there's that. Right, thanks very much. Thanks for everybody who tuned in. Thanks for everybody who likes the video. Thanks for everybody who clips it, shares it, if anything there is to clip or share. And if any of it provides any value, then great. You know, 'cause often videos that you do on TA, you might put in lots of effort, and you might like this one I won't get adverts for because I'll have to go to copyright music and whatnot. So the value has to be in that it makes like some difference to you. So yeah, please do that. make a difference to you. And also what was the other thing that I actually wanted to say when I started that sentence? Darn it, would have been a good finish. And that'll end on tune into a live stream sometime. I do them all the time. This is the end of one. And yeah, if I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening.